Hey guys, welcome back to Loft Sports. I'm Tyler.
I'm Seth.
Today we're going to be looking at some of the big matchups. Week 13, aka annual SEC bye week in the college football season. So a little slimmer list than normal this week. But we still got some big ones, including the big one in the horseshoe between Penn State and Ohio State to decide the Big Ten East.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, besides the Big Ten East, this is Penn State's hurdle that they haven't been able to get over the last few years. You look at the game, it's really hard for me to go against Ohio State right now. I know the game it's in Columbus. They don't lose there often. Penn State is coming in with a good team, but Ohio State's just rolling, and I don't see any way Penn State beats them.
Is this close?
I don't think so.
You think it's a
20? 20 is safe. I think so. It could be worse. It could be 30.
I haven't seen the line yet.
I know.
I want to say for college football, as a neutral fan, I want to see this be a top 10 game. I don't like it when these hyped up games are blowouts. It's not fun for the fans. I'd love to see it be a thriller like the last couple have been.
All I know is that Penn State has not always looked convincing this year against teams in the East, and Ohio State's beaten everybody in the
Ohio
East by
State
50,
hasn't played
60.
a close game. Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, they've dumped a good Cincinnati team. The list goes on and on.
Yeah.
I'd like to see it be close. I'm with you. I think Ohio State wins big. Staying in the Big Ten East, Michigan. Little bit of momentum, similar to last year. They crushed Sparty. They had the big win over Notre Dame. Now they go to Indiana, a team that in the Harbaugh era, surprisingly, has kept them very close every year. This is kind of Michigan's team that has their number, even though they haven't lost to Indiana. Does Michigan get caught looking ahead?
I don't think they get caught looking ahead. I think it's closer than it probably should be. I know Indiana's got a good team, but Michigan is rolling. They do have the talent to get this game over pretty convincingly. I don't want to necessarily say have it be over early, but a very convincing win is what I would expect. It's probably going to be a little closer than that. It might be a 2-score game, but I do like Michigan in this game.
I hope Michigan wins. I want Michigan and Ohio State to mean something. Sure. I like it when the major OU, Texas, and LSU, Alabama, as a college football fan, the sport is better when those rivalries matter.
Yep.
But I think Indiana is going to upset Michigan. I just don't. Michigan has got it going offensively, but Indiana can score, and I would not be surprised if Indiana wins this game. I think Michigan can. I don't think Michigan's going to roll. I think Indiana has a really good chance to pull the upset. Another game that where upset could potentially throw a curveball in the playoff rankings. Texas A&M takes on Georgia.
Yeah, I mean, I know Jimbo's kind of looking for that big win, kind of solidify his second year, everything like that. I don't see it happening, though. I just think Georgia's a better team. Georgia's got everything to play for. They need to be playing their best football this time of year. They actually have a legitimate chance at making the playoff. Having a really big run here to end the year is going to be key for that. They can't have any slip-ups. They need to just keep rolling and need to have a really convincing win here.
Georgia is a weird team because when the opponent is better, they play better, but they play down to their competition.
Right.
Texas A&M will probably be ranked in the college football rankings tomorrow night just because they're 7-3, even though they really haven't beaten anybody.
Right.
I think just because their record is, I think they'll get in. So I think Georgia naturally will play up, and Texas A&M's offense is very inconsistent.
Right.
Georgia defensively is good.
Very good.
Georgia can run it on anybody. A&M can't stop the run. I think Georgia has little problem with A&M.
It really just kind of depends on which version of Jake Fromm shows up.
I don't think it matters. I think Georgia's just going to feed Swift, and they're just going to run away with it, and that defense will shut down a very shaky A&M team. Baylor, do they get beat 2 weeks in a row? Texas limps in 6-4. Not a lot left to play for Tom Herman, but they could get a somewhat season-salvaging win.
I mean, I don't think you can say it's season salvaging when they were supposed to be a potential
You had them in the playoff.
I did, and I'm not the only one who did.
Right.
I mean, Texas had all the hype going into the year. I think their season is pretty much over. No matter what happens, it'll be a disappointment for them. I do think Baylor wins this game, and Texas is somehow 6-5. on the year after it.
I can't see Texas losing this one and falling to 6-5. I was really impressed with Baylor in the first half, but man, did they find a way to blow a golden opportunity. And college football is just a sport that it figures itself out. And I think Texas is going to upset Baylor, and that's going to clarify things a little bit more in the playoff race. I just think it's hard. You don't get this. Lou Holtz has a famous saying, you don't get the same 19-year-old kid 2 weeks in a row. Sure. Baylor's guys are deflated. I don't know how they overcome that deflating loss. I think Texas finds a way to pull the upset. Oregon travels to Arizona State. Do they get upset?
No, Oregon is very focused right now. They need to be focused every game. They can't avoid a slip up. They need to win convincingly against these teams. They know that. They're ready for it, and they're good enough to run away with this game. I think, honestly, run away with it early. I like Oregon big.
I agree. Arizona State's not very good. They started out 4-1. I think they were 15th at one point in the AP poll, and they haven't won a game since, or maybe 1-4. They've collapsed. Herm Edwards kind of starting to fall into that. He starts the season good, and then he can't put a second half together. Arizona State, they're tougher at home, but I think Oregon rolls.
Yeah.
Oklahoma. TCU comes in. TCU has been a tricky team. They lose 1 week and then they beat a really good team the next. Oklahoma, every week it seems like they're living on the edge. Are they going to get bit?
I don't think they are. I think a big thing that they had to figure out and why Baylor jumped up to a huge lead is they didn't have CeeDee Lamb, who is their number one playmaker. They'll have him back. I expect it to be business as usual. I know TCU can give a team problems. Gary Patterson's one of the better coaches out there in the country. But honestly, Oklahoma needs a big win after last week to have playoff shot remaining. I think they actually roll. I think it's a big win.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because we did this video a couple weeks ago after Kansas State won, and we said, hey, Oklahoma's got to play style points, kind of like the old BCS. They have not done that. They have won by 1 point, 3 points. I think this week they take care of business. TCU's offense is not on the same level as Iowa State and Baylor's. So I think Oklahoma playing at home, getting CeeDee Lamb back, I think they roll. Utah on the road against a completely falling apart Arizona team. Any chance Arizona puts it together?
No, not against Utah. The offense is too shaky. Utah comes at you almost like an SEC team. They run the ball very physical. Defensive line smacks you in the mouth. The offense smacks you. You feel it after you play Utah. And I don't think this Kevin Sumlin team is up to that challenge.
Yeah, another collapse. Arizona was another one. 4-1 early in the season. Looked like they were starting to, but they were first place in the Pac-12 South. Then they just started falling apart. So
I think that seat might officially be on fire too.
I mean, Kevin Sumlin just can't put two halves of a season together.
Without Johnny Manziel, he hasn't done anything.
That's right. All right, thank you guys so much. We'll come at you next week and see how these games play out. This is Tyler and Seth signing off.